It's YouTube, baby. Is that gonna be our opener for YouTube from here on out?
I feel like we should really have something consistent.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Let us know down below for all of you watching. Is it's YouTube, baby, a good opener? Or should we workshop it?
have an idea for it?
Yeah.
Throw it at us. We might use it.
We probably won't catch it though, because we are not athletes.
Oh, looks like one just came in. You guys fucking suck.
Is
Yeah, I
that
don't
my
know about that
mom?
one. We'll think about it. We'll think about it. All right, so I got a story for today. So you remember a couple weeks ago, Vault Comics put out a free to order book by Chris Yost called Unnatural Order. I even talked about it on the pod.
Vaguely.
Okay. I ordered some for the shop. Little did I know, I was not ordering issues, Casey. I was ordering bundles of 25. So I got a few. All right. I
Yeah.
got a few. It wasn't anything like fucking insane, but I got a few. Anyway, that book came out last week. So I got a call on Friday of this week. And it was like, hey, this is we'll call him Dan. It started with the D. This is Dan from Vault Comics. We just wanted to say thank you to Comic Headquarters for ordering 250 copies of Unnatural Order #1. And I was like, oh yeah. I was like, look, man, I'm gonna be completely honest. I didn't know I was ordering bundles. I just thought I was getting issues. And he goes, oh, and like awkward silence for a couple of minutes, but I wasn't gonna lie to him.
Yeah.
Uh anyway, we got to talking for a little bit, and like I told him about the Vault comics that I read and liked and the ones that sold well at the shop. And by the end, like we were totally cool. We talked for like 20 minutes.
Nice.
And he was even like, I appreciate the honesty about everything. It's not a big deal at all. And he's even gonna mail me like a cool little like Vault Comics display where I can showcase a few of them, which was
That's
really nice
awesome.
of him. And he said that their head of social media lives in St. Louis, so he was like, I'll send her by sometime to say hi. So it was a good experience, and I always like networking with industry people, so it was cool. But I very much felt like that Office meme where Michael's like young and like shaking that guy's hand,
Yeah.
and I just ordered that many by accident.
Yeah.
But whatever. I thought it was hilarious. He
Yeah.
said that, and I was just like, uh
It's like, yeah, we're gonna fly out the whole creative team to do a free signing at your shop, and then like, well, I actually,
Actually, I meant to order that
yeah,
many. That would be so dope because I like Chris Yost. He's
yeah,
great. So anyway,
because I'm
funny stuff.
pretty sure he worked on the Avengers, like the good, like the really good Avengers cartoon.
I'm sure he did. I mean, he took his break from comics to work, on MCU stuff. And
Yeah,
I know that a cartoon wasn't MCU, but still. That Earth's Mightiest Heroes is like my favorite Marvel related media of all time. I love that show.
it's so dang good.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean, and it's one of those ones where it's like it came out at the right time, where like it was like when the animation was just good, like
Mm-hmm.
because now like they're cutting corners and it shows.
Yeah.
And then like before that, like we would get like the X-Men animation, which that's like one of those things where you're just better off remembering it.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
rewatch it because that animation is rough.
It's really bad. Really bad. Um, what else was I gonna say about it? Oh yeah, I remember having to look up the voice cast because I thought they got Robert Downey Jr. for Iron Man.
Oh
The
yeah,
guy sounded just like him.
yeah.
but it wasn't. Anyway, I just thought you'd really get a kick out of
No,
that story, and I
that's
had to share it.
hilarious.
So, all right, let's move on to our Mad Libs. I rolled the
Okay.
dice. Tonight it's DC Comics.
What flavor dice you rolling tonight? Because I know you got like probably a whole drawer full.
I've got a few dice.
Yeah. And here's another question. Well, on dice talk, how do you keep them separated? Because I know you're not going to be like, oh, I got my dragon die, my dragon D20, and I'm going to grab my D6 that's purple. You're not mixing your dice, are you?
I've got two small sets that I mix because one set, being a DM, I can't just roll 1d6. I have to
I
roll
gotcha.
like 4 or 6 of them.
Yeah.
So I've got a set of Yennefer from The Witcher dice
Okay.
because they're purple and that's my favorite color. And they roll really well for me. And then 2 years ago, Brielle got me a set of like gray and purple dice, and gray is my other favorite color. So they're just a really cool swirl gray purple dice,
Nice.
and they roll immaculate for me. Like I always roll high with those dice, so I
Oh, okay. I
always
was about
use
to
those
ask
two.
when like a DM is rolling well, like you're like, I'm gonna kill all these fuckers.
Yeah,
Like they are
I
not gonna
mean,
have fun at all.
right. I mean, sometimes I'm like, I never want to kill players because that sucks, but at the same time, it's like, ugh,
Yeah.
they might
Like,
be rolling new characters after
yeah.
tonight. So, but no, it was cool. Um, and then the rest I have just in like a big old bag of just
Okay.
random, like somebody forgets dice and needs some, I can pick out a set. They're just, I'm like a little actual goblin where I'm like, ooh, this one's pretty, add it to the dice bag. Uh, shiny clack clack make me happy. So that's how I am with dice.
I got you, dude. On the Dungeons and Dragons talk, I listened to a new podcast recently, and Jake Johnson from New Girl fame and that time travel movie with Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah.
He is doing this podcast with this other comedian I'd never heard of before, but it's called We're Here to Help, and it's the two of them, and people will call in with their problems and they'll help. And the first episode is this girl. She's like, I play D&D with my friend or my friend group, and like I wanted to do a German accent because I wanted to like make my character, like the D&D style, like keep it. And like my one friend, she was gonna do Southern, she just kind of gave up halfway through. And then the other one was doing Irish, and it's just the best, and they love it. And my German, they're like, you sound like a Muppet. And it's like, what can I do to help? And like, so they're like trying to come up with ways to help her, and it was really funny. And then they're like, it sounds like, because like I think Clip Clap was the name of the goblin that was Irish. Like they're the best. Like they're just like, but you need to get on their level.
Dude, it's tough, but it's great when someone is sticking to role play that heavy.
I mean, you kind of hated it with Seymour Goldstein.
Here's the thing though, Casey. I think that I've grown as a person and a
Oh,
DM since then. And now I would welcome that.
dude, you don't know how badly I would love to play with a fucking psychotic, chaotic character with you again.
Well, I'm thinking one of these days maybe Seymour makes an appearance in like the testing room or something like that.
I mean, I think Seymour might be a little canceled. We might have to do someone a little bit different.
We get the testing room shut down.
Yeah. Like with the stuff going on in Israel right now, I don't know if Seymour Goldstein's really the best option.
The Hasidic Jewish tiefling sorcerer,
Who-
warlock. Which were you?
he was I think a warlock, but then I got this staff that let me trade places, and then I became a I swapped places with the he was like what was he? Necromancer.
That's right. Yeah. Dude, I mean, that was legit like 8 years ago. That
I
was a
know.
long time
I
ago.
know.
Yeah, good stuff. I still have your Seymour character figure too. Anyway, good stuff. All right, let's do this thing.
Right on.
This one's called Cheetahs Never Prosper.
Ooh.
An adjective.
Big.
Animal.
Turtle. I wanted to say cheetah so bad.
I know you did.
The
A place.
Grand Canyon. That's one of my favorite jokes, by the way, in Parks and Rec when they go to the Grand Canyon. Do you remember that?
Probably.
Because
Keep going.
April and Andy went there, and then they get there, and they're like, April's like, it's so beautiful, like I can't even be mad. And then Andy's like, it's cool, but where's the president's heads?
Okay, I do remember that now. God, dude, that show had some of the best one-liners.
It did.
If I had been in that scene, I would not have held it together for that
No.
joke. I would have lost it. All right, an adjective.
Grandiose. See, I was thinking of that one, and that made me think of Grand Canyon.
A noun.
Phlegm.
Adjective.
Um, Nasty.
An exclamation.
Hey,
What was it?
hey.
Oh, hey. Okay. Noun.
Wrestler.
Animal.
Snake.
Verb ending in ing.
uh,
Wait, are you holding a Jake
Fucking?
the Snake cup? Is
Yeah, I
that what you were
am.
doing? Okay, I saw you set it down, but
Yeah, it's got Jake the Snake, Sergeant Slaughter, who's a piece of shit, and then the goat Roddy Piper.
nice. What
Fun
was
fact about Sergeant Slaughter: he acted like his whole gimmick is he used to be a Marine, and like then he would act like, oh, I was a Marine, I'm a veteran, blah blah blah. No, he lied. He never served.
Oh wow.
And
That's
then
not
like
okay.
no, and like what's even funnier, there was this female wrestler recently who they were wanting her to do a gimmick with like, and she was an ex-Marine, wanted her to do like a program with Sarge. Sarge didn't want to do it, and so then she got on Twitter and she's like, "Well, what was I going to learn from him? I actually served."
That's incredible. He gave off weird vibes at C2E2. Just sitting
Yeah,
there not saying anything, collecting hundreds of dollars
yeah.
per signature. Anyway, what was the verb ending in ing?
What do you think? It's fucking.
Okay. Adjective.
Oh man, I just want to say smelly so bad, but I'm trying not to. High.
This is gonna be unhinged. Uh a color.
Purple. Jake's
Wow.
favorite. I want that to be the
Adjective.
whole thing too. Purple, Jake's favorite. Girthy.
Adjective.
It's like it's just goading me into saying smelly. Um, Fast.
A noun.
Uh, a trash can full of dead babies.
Oh, I don't want to put that. Trash can full of something else.
Trash can full of dead humans.
Okay, that's better than babies somehow. Animal.
PETA. Gotta get it in there. Crazy.
Okay, here we go. It's always funny when it puts like a/an based on what you
Yeah,
say. So I'm going to say the wrong one.
right on.
And big crowd gathered at the city zoo to view the rare jeweled turtle of the Grand Canyon statue that was on display. Wonder Woman was also in attendance, and her job was to guard the grandiose statue. This is just the sort of flim that would interest the cheetah, she thought. Suddenly, and a nasty roar sounded out. Hey! The Amazon wrestler cried. She ran outside to see a snake that had escaped from its enclosure, fucking at a group of high children. Wonder Woman quickly flung her purple, Jake's favorite, lasso to tame the girthy beast. While inside, the cheetah laughed as she pushed her way through the crowd and grabbed the fast statue. While Wonder Woman plays that trash can full of dead humans, I'll make this little pretty my own. But when the cheetah tried to escape with her loot, she found her way blocked by a snarling cheetah at the end of a golden leash, held by none other than Wonder Woman. I didn't read that one very well. I apologize.
It's okay, man. I have
Hey.
trouble reading sometimes too.
There were some dandies in that one.
They really were, man.
All right. Here we go. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Two Worlds podcast. I'm Jake, and with me, as always, it's the charmy bee to my vector. It's Casey. What's up, buddy?
Not much, man. What's that from? Like it's a video game, I'm assuming.
You hurt me, sir.
I know.
They're the chaotics.
Oh, okay.
Vector's the alligator.
Yeah, I gotcha. See,
Charmy bee is the bee.
You're like, it's the chameleon. The only one I knew the
name?
name of, I only know Mighty, and that's the I don't know what the fuck he is.
Mighty is an armadillo.
Oh, okay. I don't have the Japanese ever seen an armadillo, because boy howdy.
Mighty's great. Mighty has a great character design.
Yeah, I mean he looks cool, but at the same time I'm like, the alligator I get, the bee I get, chameleon I can kind of get, but armadillo?
Well, just to say it, the chameleon's name is Espio.
Oh, okay. I like chameleon more.
Fair enough. Oh, I didn't pull up Monday Night Football. Tonight, we've got the Denver Broncos versus the Buffalo Bills.
I'm gonna go with the Buffalo Bills. Who you got, man?
I also got the Bills. The Broncos, not great.
I think I heard a joke about them being not great. Like someone said, like, "Oh, they're the worst team." You know, like I don't know. I was like, "Well, that's I guess funny."
They're not. They are, however, tied for I think second worst team with one Chicago Bears.
Ooh.
But the worst team is the Carolina Panthers.
Oh, okay.
I think they're like 1-7 or 1-8, something like that.
Damn.
Yep,
That's the worst.
Great.
That's the craziest part though with football. Is it's like so few games too. So it's like, yeah, you're just like you're better off just tanking. Like, you
Oh,
don't
they
even
are.
try.
They
Yeah.
are for sure.
It's where like with basketball, it's like there's 82 of these motherfuckers. These any of these guys could, still be the best team in the league.
Yeah. I think the Bears have like the second, like through trades or whatever, they have the second pick no matter what next season. It's like, man, if they'd have tanked, would they have gotten 1 and 2 back to back, or does someone else like have it secured? I don't know, but
Wouldn't they didn't they just have the number one pick last year and they just traded it away? I thought that's what you
um,
were telling me.
yeah, they probably did. They probably did.
So it's like they get 1 and 2, and they're like, guess what, guys? We're trading them both.
Well, I mean, the guy they traded for is doing well. Solid trade for sure.
I gotcha.
Just needs some help, you know.
Yeah.
Um, all right, any hoozle. So, guys, I did share a funny story um, about a phone call with Vault Comics that I had this week. And then Casey and I do a pretty silly Mad Lib, and you can hear both of those over on our YouTube channel. That's
And
Two
there's
Worlds
some dice
Podcast.
talk.
We did talk about dice and D&D in general for a little bit, so
Yeah.
it's good stuff. But yeah, anyway, let's do some trivia. We all know how it works. I have 3 cards with 2 questions each. Casey will give a brief pause for you to think of an answer before giving his own. First question, Casey. By what name is Uatu more commonly known?
The Watcher.
It is the Watcher.
And that's hilarious how I first ever learned that. It was Paul F. Tompkins used to have a podcast called the Paul F. Toddcast, I think. And he was just talking about like how he's watching us like Watu the Watcher from Marvel Comics. And I'm like, wow, I didn't know he had a name.
Yeah. I don't like who's on such good terms with him that they call him Owatu instead of just the Watcher.
Right?
All right, question 2, multiple choice if you need it. Villain Typhoid Mary had a love affair with what Marvel hero?
Daredevil?
Yes, it was Daredevil. Question 3, by what supervillain name is Johann Schmidt more commonly known?
Man, is it Baron Zemo?
Nope. The other German one.
Yeah. Fuck, I blank on that dude's name now.
No, you're thinking too hard.
Yeah, I probably am. The
It's Red
face,
Skull.
Red Skull. Never mind. I was thinking the other one with the face on the TV screen.
Oh, uh, oh my gosh. It's what's his fucking
I
name?
can't think of it, man.
This is gonna drive me fucking crazy. We're not looking it up. We're getting this. It's
Um, if you're listening now, type it out and say you cute little dummies at the end.
it starts with a Z though, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, Baron. Is it Baron von Strucker? Or is that a different German
It
character?
could be a different one. All right, fuck it. I'm gonna look it up.
Oh, dude, we need to make a character called Baron von Smuckers, and he's he's always battling, Captain Peanut Butter, but
That's
they're really
really
actually
funny.
in love with each other.
Yeah, definitely kicking myself. Arnim Zola.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Good stuff. All righty. Multiple choice if you need it.
Okay.
What longtime Avenger was thought to be killed during the new team ForceWorks first mission? We're doing some 90s comics here.
I'm gonna take the multiple choices because I got a gut choice, but I really have no clue.
Go with the gut choice. Let's hear it.
I'm gonna say Hulk.
Nope,
That's
not
that's the
Hulk.
gut choice, but I need the multiple choice.
I'll give you one more choice, Casey, or one more guess. But like who's like the quintessential '90s Avenger to you?
I already know it's not Thunderstruck.
No, 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 no. Like
uh,
main roster Avengers in the '90s, but not really any time else.
I mean, Wonder Man is one that comes to mind. So it's him.
It
I
is him.
gotcha.
It was Black Knight, Wonder Man, and Vision.
I gotcha. Wonder Man, like that era, Wonder Man had a cool dang costume. Like actually, like all Wonder Man has, except for like I don't like his original costume personally, but like you just get the red coat with the sunglasses. Looks cool as hell.
It does look cool as hell. I'm not a big fan of the green,
Yeah, that's
but
that's like the one I was like, I'm not hot on that, but everything else looks cool.
it does. All right, question number 5. True or false? Unsure about his role as Captain America, Steve Rogers once changed his identity to a hero named Nomad.
True.
It is true. Talk about '90s comics. Nomad. Long
Okay.
ass ponytail, motorcycle.
Wasn't the long ass ponytail Nomad though? Wasn't that Rick?
It
Because I
might have been
thought because
Rick.
I think correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Nomad wasn't Nomad out of the Nixon because like the Watergate scandal happened and then Captain America's like aghast.
Yeah, something like that.
And I think Rick took it over because like for the longest time Marvel's like we're making Rick happen. He's gonna be a thing.
The next big thing,
Yeah.
baby.
And then like they kept trying that. And I think they finally gave up after Captain America had him killed in that one event.
Just a little whoopsie daisy.
Yeah.
All right, final question. Who joined the new Avengers as Ronin in order to investigate the Silver Samurai? It is multiple choice.
So I think I know who it is. Because it's one of two people. I think the original one was supposed to be it was originally supposed to be Echo, but then everyone's like it's Echo. And so then they went with Hawkeye instead.
What is your answer?
Hawkeye.
Incorrect.
It is Echo.
It is Echo.
Okay.
Hawkeye was one of the choices to really throw you off.
Yeah. That's like the first time they had good multiple choices. Normally it's like it would have been like Echo,
The
Wolverine.
Hulk.
Yeah, or and the Hulk.
Yeah, I agree. Some of them are just getting way too easy. I got to cycle through cards
Yeah.
before we get a couple good questions. So,
I need to like pull up some next time. Pull up some like trivia for you. We'll be like
yeah,
comic shop owner. Let's do it.
I know. My luck though, you're going to pick just fucking impossible ones.
I would try to Google DC trivia for you so we can mix it up.
I could just sit and do comic book trivia for days, man. I love it. It's so fun. All right. I forget. I was at like a general trivia within the last few years with like Brielle and some other people, and like a comic book one came up, and the question was asked, and I lean in and I give the answer, and everyone else is like, "Is it though? Like I'm not sure," and I'm like, "I'm telling you, it's this." And Brielle was like, "No, guys, he knows what he's talking about. Just put it down." And then it ended up being right, but it's just like, don't fucking play with me.
Yeah.
I know it. All right, so real quick before we get into like news, one thing that I had put in here, I finished Loki season 2. Really fucking good. Like
Good.
really fucking good. The final episode, I don't want to give spoilers since it was just out this week, but a very like bittersweet, perfect ending for that character if they decide they're not going to do anymore. And a part of me, after watching that ending, hopes that they don't do anymore. Because you don't want like a really nice ending to be undone. But man, good stuff. Really good stuff.
Really quick, I know this is a spoiler, but I mean, it doesn't bother me. Is the really nice, like, and hey, people listening that don't want spoils, skip ahead. But is the really nice ending for old what's his name? Time travel dude? Bad guy?
Kang?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. That's all I was wondering.
Yeah. I can tell you after we record
All right.
if we think about it.
Yeah. I mean, that's a toss up with us.
I know, right? But anyway, so Shigeru Miyamoto tweeted this week. It was like pretty shortly after we released the last episode, but he posted that a Legend of Zelda live action movie is in the works, and that he had been working on a script with a friend of his for many years, and now it's finally going to start happening. So I'm a little worried. Like, obviously, a part of me is like, fuck yeah, let's see it. At the same time, I don't really want it live action. I would want it animated. And also, I don't want Link to talk. And I know that he's gonna talk. So it's gonna be weird.
Yeah, I
The
mean,
time that we've gotten Link to talk, we got that shitty cartoon where he's like, well, excuse me, princess. And I don't want that shit.
I will just say, just to play devil's advocate, even though I hate the idea of it being like of seeing Tom Holland in the Link clothes. I'm not looking forward to that inevitably happening. But the fact, like, I mean, Mario doesn't really talk either, and like they did a good job with that movie.
They
So
did.
I
But
think
that
that
movie wasn't live action.
exactly, man. Just think how funny that would be though if Chris Pratt and Charlie Day were having to both, just be the plumbers that way, and then like Jack Black just had to like have his face painted as Bowser.
I mean, I still would have watched it, you know?
Yeah, you're like, this is not like it, because I mean, let's be honest, the animated one still wasn't as good as the original live action one. So this, if it would have live actioned this one, it still wouldn't have been as good as the original, the Super Mario Bros.
I mean,
Like peak cinema.
it's definitely a movie. It
It
is
is.
a movie. um, yeah, go ahead, man.
I didn't write this down, but speaking of movies, the Captain Marvel, the Marvels came out, and people are like, it's the lowest grossing Marvel movie of all time, but it's also the highest grossing movie this week, and it's the highest, I guess, the highest grossing movie directed by a black woman, which that's neat.
They'll say anything for a
Yeah,
Marvel movie.
yeah, and
It's the
people,
highest grossing movie on the first week of November ever.
yeah, but I mean, why do you? This is just something I was thinking about. Why do you think it didn't do super well? Because I have some thoughts.
Oh, I
So
have one main thought. The first one sucked.
yeah, but they're not even advertising this really as a sequel.
I know. Okay, are we gonna be honest, Casey? We know why it fucking tanked, because there are a lot of fucking bigots out there that don't want it to succeed. I'm not saying that's the main reason it failed,
Yeah,
but you know damn well people didn't go see it because women.
yeah. I mean, that's part of it, but at the same time, I don't know. Like a lot of those people, I'm looking at a lot of the comic skaters. They're like, "Oh, I hate this stuff. I only saw it 10 times because I hated it so much." It's like when they were buying, I remember seeing like a people complain about it on Twixter. They were like, um, oh, the head of Comic Skate, like the main dude, he bought a bunch of toys that were the girl that everyone hates from the new Star Wars movies, and he was just like destroying them. But it's also like you do know you're just giving them more money, that the people, they'll just look at the numbers like, oh, people love this character.
Yep.
So like I could very well see them all hate watching it. But I was just thinking, it's like people don't want to watch a movie where it's like, oh, I don't know who two of the main characters really are because I didn't watch um, Ms. Marvel and I didn't watch WandaVision,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's like, and then we don't have the Infinity War bump again, like we had for Captain Marvel.
Yeah. I mean, really, it's the two characters that no one else knows about would be two of the things that I was excited for.
Yeah.
It's like I don't care about Captain Marvel. I like Monica in the MCU quite a
Mm-hmm.
bit. She's great. And people seem to like Miss Marvel. I just didn't watch it because it's not made for me.
Yeah, I
So
thought you watched the first episode and you were
first
like,
episode, but
she
I don't want
seems
to.
charming.
Right. But
Yeah,
the first episode isn't me watching it.
I gotcha.
Yeah, I've talked to two people that have seen it, and they were like, "It's fine," and I'm sure that it
Yeah.
is. I'm sure it's fine.
And
But
then I mean that's kind of what the reviews are saying. And then you also have to think about like the dang Ant-Man movie was not well received. And then Eternals, it's something no one wanted. So it's like, I mean, this was gonna be a hard sell. Like, had they done like, an Avengers movie before it and got people hyped, like something that could get the hype train back going for Marvel, but just being like, no, we're gonna go on this on these two unknown characters and everyone's favorite plot device, Captain Marvel. We're gonna go on their star power alone.
yeah, yeah, I don't know. There was. I will say this though, we were talking about somebody popping up in it. You were right.
I mean, in all fairness, I saw the stills.
Oh, I didn't see
Yeah.
anything on it.
When I texted
Okay.
that to you, I had just seen like the frozen image. I'm like, holy crap.
Was it okay? Spoilers, people. If
Spoilers
you don't
for
want to hear it,
Marvels.
yeah. Was it Kelsey Grammer?
That's what I heard.
Interesting.
Yeah. They're
Hmm.
like, that's the one we can that's the character we can afford from those movies for this movie.
Look, to be fair,
To be fair.
Kelsey Grammer was awesome in those
He
movies.
was genuinely awesome. And he's like kind of the perfect beast. I
Hmm.
liked him a lot more than other dude.
Yeah. Nicholas Holt?
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, anyway, speaking of movies and shows, the actor strike is over.
Yay.
Now we'll I mean, dude, the day after that was announced that it was over, we started getting some fucking news, right?
Yeah.
So that's pretty nice. Um,
Timmy Shares posted this meme and it was like the Starship Troopers where it's like writers, I'm doing my part, and then it'd be like actors, I'm doing my part, and then it cuts to directors and it's Tim Robinson. It's like, I didn't do shit.
I didn't do fucking shit. I love that. So speaking of the actor strike being over, the MCU came out and was like, all right, now that that shit's over, here's our schedule. And the only MCU movie that's scheduled for next year is Deadpool 3, which is coming out July 26th of 2024. I actually think it's going to be a good thing for the MCU to only have one out next year.
It just depends if they keep doing TV shows because I kind of think that's hurting them more than helping at this point because it's like they're relying too much on that and they'll be like, hey, did you watch the show? And people, like most people, are like, no, I really can't afford Disney Plus along with all of the other streamers. And then they're like, well, there's a lot of plot that you don't know about then.
I don't know, man. I think some people are going Disney Plus over some of the others, though. People at
Maybe.
my store, anyways.
I mean, I'm kind of refusing to buy it, but I'm also a grumpy ass curmudgeon, so that might be just me.
And there's a lot of diehard MCU fans, and there's a lot of diehard Disney adults out there.
Yeah.
So I only say that because you hear all the time the people are getting burnt out on superhero movies. So it's like if Marvel only puts out one, might make people hungry for more in the following year.
Yeah. No, that is very true, but it's like they're not gonna stay hungry if you're giving them TV shows that aren't really getting the hunger back. Like,
Unless they're not seeing them, like you say.
true, but they are choosing not to see them. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know. It's kind of like the TV shows. I'm gonna always do this. They're like a big old thing, like nice cooked asparagus, and like you're over there going, but then most other people are like, guys, I don't want asparagus. And it's, and they're gonna like, I'm gonna go eat something else over here. And then Disney's like, oh, well, we got more asparagus over here. And you're just like,
All right. Well, the other 4 movies that are on their schedule, we've got Captain America 4 in February of 25, Fantastic Four, May 2nd of 25, Thunderbolts, July 25th of 25, and Blade, November 7th of 25.
Blade's gonna get pushed back to 30/30, I think.
I don't know, man. Like 2 years from now, they can definitely get that movie cranked out in that time.
Yeah, I mean that just seemed like I was saying like, oh yeah, they should probably do more than one movie a year, but I'm like, that's a lot of fucking movies in one year.
Before it's like that's one a quarter. I can handle that, you know.
Yeah, but it's like one of them's Fantastic Four, and that like they should have just done Fantastic Four and Deadpool 3. That would have been good. Different tones, hopefully. And and so, like completely different types of movies, and Fantastic Four could be like a really good re-jumping on point for a lot of people, make people fall back in love with this stuff. But yeah.
I mean, I'll also say hopefully, but Blade should hopefully be a different taste than the other movies coming out that year
Yeah.
too.
Oh, right. So we got an Ultraman Rising trailer. It's a new Netflix movie. I don't know if you watched it, but it looks like if you have Ultraman meeting like DreamWorks or Pixar, and it looked pretty sweet. Like our buddy Mike, he's gotta be like, if he saw it or if he's just listening to this now, he's gotta be pretty hyped to be able to watch that with his kids because it's gonna be really good, because he's an Ultraman fan, just be able to watch this with younger kids.
Nice. That's good. I'm glad it looks good. I'll have to look at it. I honestly didn't even hear about it. So
yeah, because it's like this this alien attacks Earth, Ultraman beats it, of course, and then like there's an egg, and then now he's Ultraman Daddy.
Okay. Before I get into comic stuff, we got a teaser trailer for, well, no, I think it was a proper trailer for The Witcher Sirens of the Deep. It looks really cool. It's an animated movie. My favorite part is that Doug Cockles, who voices Geralt in the video games, is doing the voice for Geralt in this movie.
Nice.
So happy about that.
Yeah.
So I can't wait. I like the animated stuff that they're doing with The Witcher a million times more than the live action. So I think that'll actually be really cool.
Okay, so this was funny to me. We got an official Superman release date by James Gunn with like the Superman font, where it's like the yellow and red, and it's gonna be July 11th, 2025. And then people are not happy about the font. They're
mad at the font.
Yeah, they're like, seeing this font tells me everything I need to know. Oh, look at this font.
What does that mean?
I don't get it either. It's like, how dare, like, I mean, I've been critical of James Gunn and, my opinion, but it's still like, how dare he use comic book font for this comic book movie, you monster.
Oh my gosh, dude. That is so stupid.
Yeah, I mean, it checks out with Twixter. It's kind of like, yeah, it's the standard, I guess.
Yeah. Keep going. I'll just do all my comic stuff together.
All right. So apparently Khan is either not going to be in the new King of the Hill series or he's going to be recasted because he was normally casted by a white dude, and they're like, what, you cannot be a voice actor and act a different race than what you are. Like, thank God that they didn't know that Phil Lamar wasn't a fucking Asian dude when he did Samurai Jack. Otherwise, we couldn't have had him as Samurai Jack. Because they're like trying to compare it to Apu in The Simpsons, and they had to get rid of Apu, but it's like, Khan's not really a racial like he's not like a racial stereotype.
No, he's just an Asian guy.
Yeah. So it's like, it's not really the same.
That's disappointing.
Yeah. I think this is something you're like, I know you're not a huge fan of this, guys, but you got to be like a little bit excited. Rui Hachimura is going to appear in an episode of Shin-Chan because he grew up in Japan, was a huge anime and manga fan. Apparently, like, what made him want to play basketball is the manga anime series Slam Dunk, and he's going to be in a guest appearance on the popular anime series Crayon Shin-Chan on apparently it already happened November 4th.
Dude, okay, what's crazy is that you know how much I love Shin-Chan. I didn't know it was still going.
No, I didn't know either.
Like, the Shin-Chan that Laura Bailey voiced, I've seen all of that many times over, and I thought that was it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that more to see what all I've missed as far as Shin-Chan goes.
How much is it, like, you're like, oh man, I won't know what's going on at all if I just peek into this one new episode that happened because it's Shin-Chan.
Well, no, I'm saying I'll want to watch everything that
I
haven't
gotcha.
seen.
Would you, I mean, even though it's not the same voice actors, because like I didn't know how much Laura Bailey just brought to it, that you're like, I like her voice in this and not, the subbed as much.
Well, I've not see, I think it's one of those things where the dub is like a different show.
You think so? Because like that's what I've heard too. But then there's also times like in that Star Wars episode where I'm like, there is no way that this is like, they aren't just doing what the other ones did, because like this is just what they're doing is insane.
Right.
And I saw a clip online where like just randomly Kamen Rider showed up. Just randomly, because the show is so absurd.
I'm Googling it. I want to know.
While you're Googling it, I'm going to talk about the last bit of news that I have, the most exciting bit of news we have had in years. Apparently, this is like all alleged, so let's hope it's real. Tobey Maguire is going to appear in an Avengers movie? No. The most anticipated movie for the past 80 years. Madam Web. Hold your applause, Jake.
Our most anticipated movie.
Yeah, it's a good thing that you don't have the camera on your under regions, because your pants just got blown clean off.
I mean, I will be honest. He obviously makes that more appealing than what it was before.
I think it's just supposed to be an after credit scene, so it's really not that appealing.
So apparently it's still supposed to be funny, but it's like way more tame in the Japanese version, which makes sense, which makes a whole lot of sense. So, yeah. And I saw the drawing of Rui, and it's really kind of funny to see him uh as a Shin-chan character.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull it up so you can see it.
Oh, dude, I saw it because I screenshotted it whenever I
Oh,
wrote this
okay.
down in our notes.
It's I think that art style is great because of how bad it is.
Yeah.
And obviously it's like that on purpose, but to see an NBA star in that style is just really funny.
Yeah.
All right. I've got 3 bits of comic book news because we are, in fact, a comic book podcast.
We aren't a Shin cast yet.
Yet, but man, I would love to. Is
Man,
that is that on Anime Boys?
it
Because
should
it should
be.
be.
Yeah, here's a question. When we do it, should we do both dub and sub so we can compare?
I think we should because
Yeah.
it's gonna be different.
Mildly different. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So the Dawn of DC timeline that we've seen throughout these books, we've got the next little bit, and it just says something evil is coming.
It's Lex. Oh.
It's just like, dude, we know we've had Dark Crisis, we've had Night Terrors.
Yeah.
Obviously, something evil's coming. So I don't know.
It's like, oh boy, another event.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be called Evil Come.
Written by Tom Taylor. All right. And then the last bits are Marvel Comics news. The thing everyone's been asking for. We are getting a new Night Thrasher series. It's going to be from writer Jay Holtham with art by Nelson Daniel, and that's going to drop in February. Has Night Thrasher been around since the 90s? He had 2 series in the 90s.
Yeah, I mean, he would have been around. I think he popped because one of them died, and because there's been multiple. One of them died whenever that big explosion happened, and it started up Civil War. And then I think another one was in the new Warriors that came out that had Safe Space and the other stupid name. Oh, and Snowflake. Yeah, that's so dumb. But I think there was a Night Thrasher that was in that because there's 2 of them and they're both brothers. But I'm interested in Night Thrasher. I thought he looked cool as hell when I was a kid because my brother had a lot of yeah. I mean, it's like by aesthetic, but my brother had a lot of the New Warriors books, and I would flip through them when I was younger. So that's how I found out I love Nova also. So yeah, I mean, I'm into Night Thrasher.
There's also another guy Warriors is what you're into.
Yeah, that too. But there's also another character that was in the New Warriors. I'm like, I wonder what he's doing now. And probably not a lot. His name was Rage. He's like wearing a lucha libre mask, like a leather jacket, no shirt. It's like, oh, Casey's like, yeah, he's giant too. This is awesome.
Did you read that New Warriors series that came out just like a few years ago?
No, they had a character named Safe Space and Snowflake.
No. Before that one.
Oh, no.
It would have been like maybe 2016, 2017.
No.
Okay. I was just curious. All right. My last bit then. Marvel is going to be relaunching Ghost Rider because why not? Benjamin Percy is still going to write it. However, there is going to be a new Spirit of Vengeance. So there you go.
I wonder if it's going to be Goth Girl.
I don't know. I'm just kind of in the why.
Yeah.
We've got Blaze, we got, Danny Ketch, Kushala, or whatever her name is. She was like in 2 appearances. It's like, do a series on her.
Yeah.
You're like, here's the new one. 2 appearances.
Yeah. But it doesn't, with like the Spirit of Vengeance, it doesn't bother me that much as long as they're not driving a car. Come on. But
Oh yeah, I forgot about Robbie Reyes. It's like,
yeah, like,
God, see, you say you don't care, Casey, but the next thing you know, we're gonna have the fucking Flash and Green Lantern effect where there's 12 of them.
but the thing is, it's not like I'm gonna compare it to Punisher because me and my brother were talking about Punisher the other day. It's not like the Punisher where it's like it's not a mantle. Like this is like, oh yeah, I mean, if it's not like just like, oh, like Frank Castle is the Punisher. Period. They shouldn't have, this is like a thing that you can take over someone's body. It's the spirit of vengeance. They can, do all this crazy stuff. I think it works that way. But, like, and Marvel always wants to add the more diversity. So it's like it's better than like how they're doing the Punisher. Like, new blonde white guy, please. But then me and Nick were also talking about that, and I was like, well, after thinking about it, maybe it's for the best that they don't get a minority guy to be a mass shooter. Like, let's just keep it white.
A good point. Counterpoint, I don't give a fuck either way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
No, I don't think.
however they do it, if it's the new Punisher or it's this, diversity, I just don't, I don't care about anyone.
Yeah, it's like
It's
a
not for
new.
me though. I've never really read Ghost Rider, so they could have put anybody in that role, and I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, as long as it's not like an established character, as long as they're not like Black Widow Venom is the new Spirit of Vengeance, I'll be into it.
That would be
But
insane.
it's just like it's just the new Punisher is Black Widow, Ghost Rider, Venom.
Captain America. Oh gosh. All right. That's it for my news. It's just nice to have some fucking news, if I'm honest.
Any news is good news, as they say. But what comics did you read this week?
I read Sonic the Hedgehog number 66, Birds of Prey number 3, Shazam number 5, and What If Dark, The Tomb of Dracula number 1.
I hate that title, I'm not gonna lie. So
too.
I actually read I went to the local Christian bookstore and I got Birds of Prayer. It was much different than what I expected.
I didn't know where you're going with that.
But I read Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles versus Street Fighter number 5, The Joker, The Man Who Stopped Laughing number 12, Dark Ride issue 9, Marvel Unleashed number 4, and Donna BC Shazam number 5.
So, well, take it away.
I'm gonna take it. So good. But I'm gonna start with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles versus Street Fighter. This is by Paul Allore and art by Ariel Medel. So yeah, I mean, you get them all fighting. The art in this is pretty rough at times. Like, look at old Mr. Raph here.
Yeah, not great.
Yeah, it's
honestly,
like,
Ken right there is not great either.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty rough throughout, but we get, like, last time I was complaining that we didn't really get much of a fight scene between all those guys and Shredder. This time we actually get a pretty good one between M. Bison and Shredder, and so that was pretty cool. But it just seemed like Ryu and Ken and Guile are all pretty nerfed. Like, we don't get to see the Sonic Boom or a Hadouken or anything like that. It's just, it is what it is. But that ends with them, the Rocky ending, fighting on a truck though instead of in a ring. So
like, it ends like that?
Yeah. Because it's one of those things where it's like the first issue was them fighting and they had like a shitty ending, like it was like a good conclusive ending. And so then this ends with them going, I wish we could have had a rematch. And then Raph's like, we still can. And then Leo's like, no, we can't. We're leaving. And like, don't worry, we're not going to miss the truck. And then they're on the top of the truck fighting.
Gotcha. With context, it's fine.
Yeah. But I mean, it's like I said, like, I'm not the biggest Street Fighter fan. I didn't say that, but I'm not the biggest Street Fighter fan, but they do kind of nerf those characters, it felt like. I mean, other than that, it's still pretty cool. I liked it. I'm just gonna have to start reading Turtles. Like, this scratched that itch, but I'm still like, I want more. So I'm gonna go with a 7 out of 10 because it was was fine.
Here's a homework assignment for you, dude. You need to just text me like Turtles ongoing because I don't,
Yeah.
or like nobody is asking for it.
Okay.
But I can look and see what like the start of an arc was within the last few issues and like
Well,
get you in on that.
that was the thing me and Nick were also talking about because he was telling me like the current writer that did a lot of the shit for this book is done. And so like I'll pick up on this new, with this new writer now, and that should do it.
Yeah. I also need to know when that is.
Yeah, I'll try to figure that out for you.
All right. Sorry, were you done?
I was gonna say I'll just do the Joker really quick. The Joker
Sure.
really quick because I think I got a few more than you. So the Joker number 12, The Man Who Stopped Laughing by well by Matthew Rosenberg and Carmen de Giandomenico on the art. I love the art. Yeah, we got Joker, fake Joker and real Joker going to war. I guess Batman did something that messed with Jason. And so then Joker sprays a laughing gas at him and kind of gets his mind a little bit back to better, and they do this big thing. And yeah, it's wild. And one of the Jokers dies. It's revealed like they're like, yeah, I don't know which one it is. And then there's like, but some like here's how it ends. It's like, but some simple people just love a tidy ending, a clean punchline. So if you're one of those people who can't stand the anticipation and needs everything to wrap up nicely, allow me to explain that what just happened and what this whole thing was really about. Dot dot dot, and then it's done. So I mean, it's good. It was a good ending, kind of how it had to end, because we don't need two Jokers or three Jokers or six Jokers. But I think I kind of feel like the current Batman story, like the way that what's going on now, kind of hurt it, because like I didn't know what the hell was going on with Jason being traumatized because Batman sprayed him with some stuff. That seemed really out of character for Batman. But other than that, it was good. This was really fun. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10, and series as a whole probably a 9.
All right. I'm glad that you enjoyed it.
I think you'd probably even like it, man.
Maybe, but I'll probably never get to it.
Probably never. Toss it on the never-ending pile.
Yep. All right. What if Dark, The Tomb of Dracula, #1? First off, got to show off the art germ cover that I got.
That's pretty rad.
Yep. All right. This bad boy is written by somebody. I'd love to tell you. If I were a professional, I would have had it ready to go while you were talking about Joker.
Well, you were just like listening to me and be like, oh man, this charismatic knucklehead.
That's you.
Yeah.
However, it's written by Marv Wolfman with art by David Cutler. It was all right. It was all right. Essentially, it's like an early Dracula and Blade story, and Dracula bites Blade and infects him, and Blade's like, no, fuck that, I'm taking this guy out. So he goes to Dracula's castle, just like slaughters all of his little minions, and takes out Dracula as well. And then he radios into his friends. He's like, all right, before it takes me over, blow this fucking castle to smithereens. I'm going down with the ship. And they do. With the other three on his team, blow it up, killing Blade and effectively taking out all the vampires. So
Wow.
it was a fun little what if. I wish the art were a little bit better, but it's still a fun Blade and vampire story. So I'll give it a 7 out of 10.
Right on. Okay, so Dark Ride issue 9 with the sexy variant cover
Hell yeah.
by Joshua Williamson and Andrea Bresson. And yeah, it's pretty cool. We get some Halloween is the girl's name. This is Halloween heavy, this issue. She has a stalker. She murders the shit out of him. Yeah, it's pretty cool issue. And then it's got one of those endings where you're like, oh wow, let's see what happens next issue. But yeah, it's just another solid issue of this pretty solid book. So I'm gonna go 8 out of 10.
I'm not gonna lie, that's gone on longer than I thought it would.
Yeah. If I mean it's weird that it's like it feels like it's gone on longer than 9 issues, if that makes sense. So I don't
Yes.
know. But whatever.
Is our only Muchi Shazam?
Yeah.
All right. Birds of Prey #3. Written by Kelly Thompson with art by Leonardo Romero. Still good stuff. They ride the Megalodon to the shores of Themyscira. And then they each have their little missions. They're taking on Themyscirans, taking on like nature spirits guarding the island. And they're fighting their way to get to Sin. I don't know what her full name is, but Dinah finds
Cynthia.
Sin. Cynthia. He's like, all right, we got to get out of here. But Sin doesn't look like she's really like being captured. She's just listening to music and writing in a notebook. And Dinah's like, we got to get the fuck out of here. And she's like, what? Why? So clearly there's going to be more to this. However, their cover gets blown. And so Canary's like, she talks into the radio and it shows Green Arrow. It's like, all right, our cover's blown. Now it's up to you. And he's like, all right, let's do this. And he gets on this building and he aims and you see Wonder Woman down in the street. And what I love about this is all he knows, he cannot beat Wonder Woman. He's just like, this is going to fucking hurt. And he still does it anyway. And that's one of the things that I really like about that character. So anyway, he gets Wonder Woman with a couple of trick arrows and she catches up to him and she's like, Ollie, what are you doing? I don't want to hurt you. But he doesn't say anything. He just keeps fighting. And she's like, all right, I guess I'll put you down if I have to. But he gets some trick arrows from like a magic bag from somebody. I forget who it was, but he cracks the joke. He's like, man, I should have contacted Constantine instead or something like that, or Zatanna. But yeah, that big old distraction does not work. It cuts to Diana landing on Themyscira where she's going to throw down with the others, and that's where it's to be continued. Another interesting thing, before all the shit goes down, they're kind of like, well, Barda, can't you like take out Wonder Woman? And Barda is not super confident in that. And like, I get it. Wonder Woman has a lot more feats and is probably always going to be written to be better than Barda. But at the same time, I'm like, she should be able to go toe to toe, I think.
Go toe to toe, but I mean, it's like I'm gonna compare it like this. It'd be like Punisher versus Captain America, or like Winter Soldier versus Captain America. Captain America's gonna win,
Of course.
but hold her own.
Well, my whole thing is just, I picture Barda's character to be like, I can hold her off. She's not going to, but she thinks she can.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just a Jake thing.
Yeah. I could also see from the little bit of Barda I've read, you've read more, but I could see Barda also just respecting Wonder Woman enough to be like, oh, guys, I'm tough. But holy shit, you know who this is?
Right. And that's definitely what they lean into more
Yeah.
here. But it is what it is. It's a really good book. I'm really, really, really liking this series. So I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. Really good
Right on, dude.
stuff.
I mean, if Barta had Mr. Miracle like gassing her up, she's like, okay, I can fucking do it. But yeah, he's not there to gas her up. Like
He
he's her
shows a
biggest
little
fan.
skin.
Yeah. Okay, so next up, it's Marvel Unleashed. I got the wonderful Bats variant cover.
I thought
Issue
you'd like
4.
that.
I loved it, man. Like, I'm just gonna say this. You missed out with this book. You really did. So this is by Kyle Starks and Jesus Hervas. Um, you get old Throg going toe to toe with Blackheart, just fight him, and then you got old the bird that's and like the old bird and the dang old cat going up, and they're gonna help out the scientists free Lockjaw. And so Bats and D-Dog are gonna have to hold off a whole horde of demons. And like this is a book about animals, and like look at how good Throg looks.
The art's really good.
Yeah, the art's awesome. D-Dog's the best girl, and there's like one really cool part where like Throg's getting his ass kicked, and because he lost the hammer early on, and so like he's like holding his hand out for the hammer, and it comes back, and like look at this,
Oh man, that's incredible.
right? So cool. Just going to town, and heartbreak happens, but Lockjaw wakes up. I'm gonna start spoiling this, by the way. Lockjaw, look at Lockjaw.
Yeah.
Lockjaw
Yeah.
wakes up, and it's one of those things where you don't think about how like tough Lockjaw as a character can be, but like he takes Blackheart and then just starts teleporting to these different areas, and he's just getting his ass destroyed by this stuff. And then finally Lockjaw shows up and you don't know where he's at, and Blackheart's like, "Don't be so pleased. You haven't quite bested me yet, creature. Now that I've caught my breath, it will be the end of you." And then it's just fucking Black Bolt sitting there on his throne, and he's like, "Did you just threaten my dog?" And then like just Blackheart's just left like in this like interdimensional prison, just a smoldering ash.
Man, that sounds like a good time.
Yeah, and the one downside though is D-Dog being just a regular dog fighting off a bunch of demons. She had her back turned, and she got hit and killed during the battle. And so they're like, all the animals are talking. They're like, she was really brave. Like this is like when I was reading this, I was getting so sad. And like she was really brave. Like in the last issue, there was one part where like they're all seeing like their worst fears, and like Bats mentioned, oh yeah, I would, or not their worst fears, but like these, this thing, like, oh yeah, it was the worst fears. Like, oh, I was at the Rainbow Bridge to be taken to heaven, waiting on my owners, and my owners just didn't show. And he's like, and like they're like, why didn't D-Dog have any problems? Like, because that's just the life she lives. Like she knows that's going to be her existence after she dies, because she doesn't have any owners. And so she's just on the Rainbow Bridge. She's like, oh, just going to be stuck here for forever then. And then Throg shows up with the whole gang, and they're like, hey, I had to pull some strings, but I told them how great you are. So you're going to go where heroes belong. And she ended up in Valhalla, and they're like, hey, we can't stay because we're not here yet, but we'll see you again. I'm like,
That's very wholesome.
yeah. I'm like, you didn't have to kill it though. You didn't have to kill her. But that's my pick of the week. It's a 10 out of 10. That series, I might just give it a 10 out of 10 also. Like, should have been read by more people. Because I'm assuming not a lot of people were like, I need to read this Throg and D-Dog heavy book and Bats heavy book.
How many more do you have?
I just have Shazam.
Okay, I've got Sonic.
Yeah.
All right, so next up for me is Sonic the Hedgehog 66. It's written by Ian Flynn with pencils by Mauro Fonseca. And I like this one a whole lot. That last one ended with like Sonic and the Chaotix lying in wait to beat up the Sonic Riders characters because they were going to sell off some Echidna artifacts. So a pretty cool fight between all of them that ends with the Chaotix and Knuckles coming out on top. Um, but then it shows the writers' characters calling whoever their contact was and saying, "Hey, we messed up. Sorry. We can go fight him again. We just need to regroup." And the person on the other line turns out to be, I don't know his name. He's a possum, but he's like a real shady guy in the Sonic universe. I just can't think of his name.
Is that the dude that has the hat? Like he wears like a fedora?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. That's awesome possum.
Yeah,
I didn't even know he was a possum, if I'm being honest.
there
Oh
he
no, I'm
is.
thinking of someone different. I'm thinking of the purple guy that wears like the safari hat.
Oh, no, not that guy. Not that guy.
You're like, no,
Uh
that one is awesome possum.
um anyway, but the possum guy essentially says, "Oh, don't worry, you were just a distraction the whole time, while I took care of some other business." So from there, it's to be continued. But then the other half of the comic is the continuation of Rough and Tumble breaking into Cream and Cheese's house while Cream's mom went to the grocery store. Um, Essentially, Jim Earl is trying to fight them off while Cream is trying to hold the kitchen together, and it goes horribly wrong. All the food gets ruined, and then the mom comes back and she essentially scares the shit out of Rough and Tumble, uh, and scares them into like apologizing and helping clean up and running away. Um, and then the Chaotix come over for dinner because that's who they were cooking for to begin with. And they decide to get some like Chinese takeout instead. So all of them, including Rough and Tumble and the Chaotix and Cream and Cheese and the mom and all the Chows and Jim Earl, all just have Chinese takeout at the end. And the whole lesson is like, you know, everything may not go according to plan, but sometimes that ends up being better anyways. So, just one of those power friendship stories, but it was really funny and I liked
Yeah.
it. This is such a good kids book, man. It really is. It's
It
funny, the art's good, it's got lessons in it.
that story gave me vibes of the Sonic cartoon, the funny one, not the one that I remember. I have like memories of it being awesome, like the one that was like silly with the two robots.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that one a lot. Um but yeah, it that issue honestly was like a 10 for me. It's my pick of the week. Sonic is just at like a high right now. So
Nice, dude. It's a Sonic Renaissance right now.
it is.
Okay, Donna DC.
Renaissanic.
Ooh, Renaissance.
Renaissanics.
um, we got Donna DC Shazam by Mark Waid and Dan Mora. We get some Mary Marvel action this time around, so that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
What would you think, man?
Um, I think Mary stole the show, honestly. Like
Yeah,
the art's really fucking good as always. Um, but really I like all the parts with Mary. And the ending was pretty interesting with Freddie, making his demand. So we'll see where it goes. I think it's just a good solid book.
yeah. I'll have to see where it goes with that ending though, because that ending I thought was kind of stupid. But the rest of it was just a pretty like fun hoot.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mark is just doing like a classic Silver Age thing where that ending really isn't gonna mean
Yeah.
anything.
I do I do love the thought. Like this is one of the things I was like I was kind of a little bit annoyed with, but also thought it was funny. Like the moon starts spinning and like Captain Marvel's like stopping it. But I'm like, you do know, like that's fucked up Earth a good. That had to have fucked up Earth a good bit down there with tides
All
and
the
stuff.
tides.
Yeah, tide pods everywhere.
Yep.
That's what it does, right?
Yeah, yeah, of
Okay.
course. Uh but yeah, I think it's good. I really do think Dan Mora was like at his peak in this issue as far as the art goes. So I'm at like a good 8 out of 10, I think.
Yeah, that seems like a good spot for it too. I enjoyed it. But what are you excited for next week, buddy?
Um Wesley Dodds Sandman #2. We'll go Immortal Thor #4. Hmm. Probably Batman and Robin 3.
Right on. I'm gonna say Godzilla, Green Lantern, and Superman Lost. All right. So Fantastic Four time. Like just reading that darn Unleashed book. I didn't expect to love it as much as I did. I was like, yeah, this is probably gonna be at worst funny, but I was surprised by how awesome it is. So give me like four comics that were surprising bangers for you.
Yeah. I Without putting like a lot of thought into it, four that come to mind are going to be Mountainhead. That's just something I wouldn't have read normally, but I thought that was, as you say, a banger.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say Superboy, Man of Tomorrow. I've never really read Superboy. Thought that one was a banger. The last couple Silk miniseries, again, a character I never read, but got me hooked. I've read the last two or three minis. And then Arkham City Order of the World that came out last year or the year before, whenever that was. It's just like, man, that's just a bunch of weird characters that should not have done
Yeah.
well at all. And it was awesome. So,
Okay, so for me, I'm gonna start with The Nobody by Jeff Lemire. I don't know if you've ever read that, but it's basically, spoiler alert, an Invisible Man style story, and it was really good. And that's kind of what got me into Jeff Lemire. Um, and then I will say, what would be another one? Oh, Starman. I was like, I don't know how much I'm gonna like this, but I got the omnibus one year for Christmas. I'm like, oh, I love this. And then Silk was on my thought patterns too, because wasn't expecting to enjoy that as much as it did. And the last one, Thunderstrike. He was always just like my joke answer for characters that I thought were cool because he looks the coolest. But boy, oh boy, that comic's amazing.
all right. Good answers all around. Hey, let us know down below. What are some comics that you read that you may not have been expecting to love, but then you did? But that does bring us to the end of the episode. So closing plugs, if you would, head on over to facebook.com/twoworldspodcast and give the page a like. You can also follow us on, what were you calling it? Twixer?
Quickster.
Twixter at 2_worlds_PC and on Instagram at twoworldspod. You can email us at twoworldspodcast@gmail.com. And if you would, subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's Two Worlds Podcast on YouTube.
Let us know what you're like. Are you a left or right Twix? Left only for me, please.
Okay. We'd love to stay in chat, guys, but we have to get over to Cream's house to eat some Chinese food. So we'll catch you next time.
Give me some of that sweet, sweet, creamy Chinese food. Bye, guys.